there's some that say in 100 years, Florida will be underwater. Florida is pretty much at sea level. It's a flat land, and there is some scientific data that shows the earth is warming and sea levels are rising. And it's also true that, pollution is real, as you have emissions, carbon is caught in the air, and, the earth warms, and it causes all types of disruption. No one knows exactly what will happen in the future, because you cannot predict the future 100%, and there's some debate around these issues. So I'm not going to get into the debate around climate change or the politics of it. I'm going to simply address the thought of, should you move to Florida? Because in the future, hurricane intensity may increase because the warmer the ocean, the more volatile the atmosphere. And there are legit concerns of flooding because, again, Florida is pretty much at sea level. And you're in this climate that has a lot of variables. So in my opinion, you should still move to Florida. Here's why. Why waste your life? Let's just say in 100 years, let's say in 50 years, Florida goes into the ocean. Should you waste 50 years of your life not living where you can live and where you can enjoy 50 years of your life? The average human only lives 80 years. So if you can live somewhere for 50 years, you probably won't live there for 100 years. Most of us will probably never live to 100. But if you can live somewhere for 50 years or the majority of your lifetime, you're blessed. So again, the politics of it aside, I want to address the fact that if you have the ability to move to Florida, if you can do it below your means and responsibly transition, obviously mitigate your risk if there was a major hurricane that wiped out parts of Florida, or if there's a major, anything can happen. There's tornadoes in the middle of the country. There's earthquakes on the West Coast. There's snowstorms in the Northeast. So, anything can happen anywhere. So again, you have to live below your means. You have to kind of mitigate your risk a little bit, but it's like you can never live in a safe bubble where there's a guarantee that if you live here, if you do this for 80 years, nothing bad could possibly happen. Therefore, with that rational logic, go ahead and move to Florida. Okay. Now again, we accept that there may come a hurricane, there may come a day where things are crazy, but it's like we might as well seize the moment and make the most of our lives. Okay. Again, I grew up in New Jersey where Hurricane Sandy wiped out many homes on the coastline. I had a few friends that had to rebuild their house. They got some insurance money, some FEMA money, and it was, a couple-year process, but it's rebuilt now. And, it's like, again, should you live on the ocean? You live by the ocean, you take a chance that your house can get wiped out with flooding or hurricane. It's your call. It's like, well, what should you do? Not live by the ocean and enjoy the years you can? It's like you have to enjoy your life while you can, while being responsible, while understanding the risks and the unknowns of the future. So what I tell you is, don't waste another year. Because even if the worst case scenario happens, I am always thankful that 4 or 5 years ago I sold my house, and for about 4 years I've been pretty much living in Florida. If I didn't do that, those would have been 4 years I can never get back. So that's the key to life. Don't waste your life worrying, because what happens is time passes you by and you don't enjoy the time you have. And there is no guarantee for any of us in any circumstance. That's just the life and the world we live in. So I want to encourage you to responsibly go after what you want, to understand there are some risks and unknown, but to understand that is the nature of life itself, always has been, always will be. And don't deprive yourself of a great life while you can do it. Because if you're waiting for this future date, this future time, this future place, where it's going to protect you from all bad things. It just doesn't exist. It will never in this world. So I hope me talking this out helps you in some way so that you can push forward on your journey, because it's scary. It's scary to change. Change is very scary. Humans are creatures of habit. Humans want a certain future. It's part of survival. There are 3 elements of life: survival, exploration, and building. So the first is obviously you need to survive in order to, maintain life, right? The next is you need to explore to see where you want to live and how you want to, you need to explore to see where you want to live and just to get experiences in life. And that adds perspective. And then to me, the final phase is to build. Once you have explored and you've seen the areas you wanted to, or even the ones you didn't, just to experience them, then you get to a season where you build a life where you are most inspired, even though it will never be perfect because there's no perfect place. And that is a well-lived life of all 3 elements: survival, exploration, and building. And if you can remember that, I believe you will have the confidence and the encouragement not to not have fear, because you're always going to have some fear, but to push past the fear and to go after your life and live however you want. Again, it doesn't mean you have to buy, doesn't mean you have to rent, doesn't mean you have to do anything. It just means that no matter what the future holds, you have to still live your life so that the present is not lost. And I think no matter how you look at the future, the politics of climate change or anything else, if you were fair-minded and listened to this video, I believe in the general sense you would agree. Because, what would you do? If not, what would you say? No, for my lifetime, I'm just going to live where I'm not inspired. I'm going to do what I now do just because something may happen here. That'd be a bad life lived, in my opinion. So hopefully this video helps you. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you all my members for supporting the channel. Peace, love, and gratitude.